Today's story is about OP, who has relatives and a sister-in-law from absolute hell. I can't wait to read this one. I hope you guys are having a great day. Here it is. I'm 36 and female, found out that I'm pregnant. I'm overjoyed as I've always wanted a child of my own. I focused on my career in my life, and since I'm single, I wasn't sure if having a baby would ever happen. I was excited to tell my family the big news. My older sister has one child, my nephew who's 7. My brother's married, but he and his wife have made it very clear that they'll always be child-free. Last night, we had a family dinner, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to share the news. Since this will be my only child, I wanted to make it special, and I also wanted to involve my nephew. I got a shirt that read, quote, "This is what an awesome big cousin looks like." I slipped away with my nephew before dinner and had a special moment with him while I told him he was going to have a cousin. My nephew was very excited and put on the shirt. He put his sweater on over it, and I told him that he could take off the sweater whenever he wanted to at dinner. In the middle of the dinner, he took off the sweater and waited for someone to notice. Soon, my sister jumped up and excitedly screamed when she saw the shirt. They all then immediately assumed it was my sister-in-law. I wasn't hurt by them assuming this, and I kind of expected it because, well, she is married. I was hurt because my sister-in-law did not try to correct them. She just went along with it and began to rub her flat belly while laughing. I must have looked completely hurt because my mother yelled at me to stop being rude and to congratulate them. I tried to explain that I was the one who gave my nephew the shirt. They all did not even hear me and just continued to fawn over my sister-in-law. My brother stood frozen in shock, just asking his wife if she was serious. I got up and I went home. I received multiple texts at this point from them telling me what an a-hole I am for making this all about me. They said things like it wasn't my sister-in-law's fault that I was jealous. I did not reply to anything and just cried myself to sleep. This morning, my sister-in-law must have finally let it slip that she's not pregnant. They have now all called me to apologize, saying that they just got caught up in the moment. They said I shouldn't have left the dinner and that it's my fault I wasn't clear enough that I was the one pregnant. My mom said I could have a redo dinner so I can get it right and they'll all act surprised. My sister-in-law sent me a message that said that the way I chose to announce was how she wanted to do it if she ever got pregnant. She said that since she is not ever having a child, that she just wanted to experience that moment and see what it would be like. She also said I can have my chance at the redo dinner. I told them no, and that I'll not be doing a redo dinner. Every single person has now told me I'm being selfish and an a-hole, because I won't let them make it right. To me, there's just simply no fixing it. I'll eventually forgive them, but I don't want to do a second announcement so they feel better. Am I the a-hole in this situation? Guys, that's a good question. Drop your thoughts down below. I just want you to know there's multiple updates on this. Every story that I try to give you guys, I look so hard for the updates. I do miss one occasionally, so you might want to subscribe just in case I update it later. Let's see what the heck's going on with this first update. Hey guys, this is just an update on my previous post. I've had many people message me about it, and I thought I would update. Well, it's been a wild ride. I'm now almost 7 months pregnant and expecting a baby girl. After everything happened, I tried going low contact with my family. I did not want to deal with their drama and chose to instead focus on my pregnancy. That didn't last long because my brother showed up at my door a few days after the dinner with his suitcase. He needed some time to work things out, and I was happy to give him a place to stay while he did. My sister-in-law and other family members began calling both of us non-stop during this time. They were begging my brother to talk to his wife. Eventually, she convinces him that it was all a joke that just went horribly wrong. I knew this was total bullcrap and that she was lying. My brother seemed so lost and broken without her, though. He went back home after staying with me for just a short time. Before I left, I talked to him everything and told him all my concerns. He said that he loves his wife and this was all just a misunderstanding. He told me I was cruel for holding a joke gone wrong against her and that we both need to get over it. I couldn't force him to listen to the reason, so I just let him go. After he left, I went back onto low contact with most of my family and have been much happier since. I realized after reading the comments on my previous post exactly how toxic my family is. I decided to focus on the people in my life that were truly there to support me and my baby. My parents keep trying to contact me, but it has become less frequent lately. Yesterday, I received news that many of you have predicted. My sister-in-law is now pregnant. I found out when I received an invitation to her upcoming gender reveal Zoom party in my mail. I haven't responded yet, and I haven't heard any news from any family other than the invitation. I'm torn between laughing hysterically and crying for my brother. I truly don't know what to think. Update number 2. My brother and sister-in-law's gender reveal Zoom party took place today. For the last few weeks, I've been debating on if I should attend or not. I had been doing well with being no contact with most of my family, but I couldn't seem to let go of the feeling that I was being selfish and not supportive of my brother. So I decided to reach out and talk. I think I decided this mainly out of curiosity, but also loneliness. It's hard being pregnant, alone, and stuck in a lockdown. I reached out to them online. My brother and his wife are definitely pregnant. They started to try shortly after he returned home from staying with me. My sister-in-law told me that my brother changed his mind about having children after a long talk they had about their future. I personally think there's more to the story, but I don't have all the details yet. They did tell me that they were sorry about what happened with my pregnancy announcement. My brother asked me if we would all just move forward and if I would come to their gender reveal. I agreed to let it go. I also started to speak to my parents again. My parents did not apologize for their part in what happened at my pregnancy announcement. They didn't even really acknowledge that anything had happened at all between us at all. They don't ask me much about my pregnancy or about my baby. They've only been interested enough to ask 2 questions. They ask what my child's last name will be since I'm a single mother, and what the gender is. I told them I'll not be sharing the gender of my baby until the birth. Today was the gender reveal Zoom party where we were instructed to wear blue or pink depending on what we thought the gender would be. Well, I chose to wear pink since the only dress I own that fits me right now happens to be pink. As all attendees logged onto the Zoom call, everything seemed to be going rather swell. My parents were in head-to-toe blue and said it was because they're excited that my brother's finally carrying out the family name. My sister-in-law and brother were dressed opposite in all pink. Everyone seemed happy and ready to celebrate. My sister-in-law had chosen to pop a large balloon filled with confetti that will reveal the gender. She popped the balloon and out came a cloud of blue confetti. My parents began to cry and cheer at the announcement. My brother and everyone else was smiling and clapping. My sister-in-law, on the other hand, was not. The next few moments were filled with all the guests saying congratulations. My sister-in-law stayed perfectly silent throughout all of it, though. She seemed somewhat emotionless until I piped up to say my congratulations. I'd said to both of them, congratulations on your little boy. His cousin can't wait to meet him. My sister-in-law went insane. She began screaming that I was trying to steal the spotlight away from her by mentioning my baby. She said I was being jealous and petty over my birth announcement disaster. She then asked me, what are you ducking having anyways? She demanded to know the gender of my baby and began asking if it's a girl. She then said I must be having a girl since I'm wearing a pink dress. My parents and other family members did little to stop my sister-in-law's meltdown. I chose not to fight or with her on it to try to reason with her. I just exited the call and let it go. I don't know what my sister-in-law's problem is or why she's behaving this way. I don't care, and I'm not going to let things like this bother me anymore. It was a bad idea to break no contact. Update number 3. I've posted on here a few times before. I apologize for this rant, but I just need to get it off my chest. I wish I could say the same things have calmed down since my last post. Unfortunately, my sister-in-law's drama just seems to progressively get worse. My sister-in-law found out that I'm expecting a girl about 2 weeks ago. She found the gender by logging into my Amazon account without my permission and looking through my private list. I'd given my brother the login information for my Prime account so that he could watch a show he wanted to see. I had not expected her to log into the main account and view my private wish list past orders. I was extremely hurt and devastated that she went this far. She took another special moment from me because she went ahead and told the rest of my family the gender. She seems proud of herself for doing this and thinks she's justified now because I was, quote, keeping secrets. She actually thinks that it's a funny story and blames pregnancy brain for any of her poor behavior. Well, I finally snapped and told her what she did was appalling and deeply troubling. I told her that she's ruined every major moment in my pregnancy and that I cannot believe that she's proud of it. I told her she should be ashamed of herself and that I'm embarrassed for her. I told her that, at this point, I won't be allowing my daughter calling her aunt because she doesn't deserve it. She had a meltdown after this and accused me of trying to get her to miscarry. She says this kind of thing a lot. My brother and other family members tried to jump in and defend her, but I made it clear that I'll be removing them from my life as well if they continue to defend her. They've since shut their mouths and begun to agree with me. My sister-in-law gave me a half-hearted apology and said that we need to make up for the sake of the children. I do want to be a part of my new baby nephew's life, so I do feel a bit stuck in this situation. I agreed to just let it go and try to move on. I made it clear to her and everyone else that they're on very thin ice. Since everyone now knows that I'm having a girl, I've refused to tell anyone the name that I've intended to give my daughter. I want to at least keep that part for me to announce when I have my child. I haven't really written it down because I fear somebody will find it. My sister-in-law has asked me many times, but I just tell her that I haven't decided yet. This last week, she started sending me girls' names that she's calling dibs on. I reminded her that she's having a boy, but she seems to be in denial about the fact. She likes to say that we won't really know the genders for certain until the babies are born. Most of the names are ones I have no interest in as we have different styles. She sends me about 4 to 5 names off her list each day. I just ignore her, but yesterday she sent me the name that I'll be naming my daughter. The name is my late great-grandmother's name, and I've wanted to use that name since I was a teenager. I won't be changing my mind about naming my daughter this. I'll be announcing it once she's born. I don't care if this starts a war, as this is the hill I'm willing to die on. I know this is just going to cause an issue when I share her name. At least I have time to prepare for her meltdown this time. I want to be a part of my brother and nephew's lives, but I'm starting to see that it's just not worth it. Update number 4. My little girl's finally here and doing well. She's so beautiful and is more amazing than anything I could ever imagine. She's a handful already, but I'm loving every second of it. You'll all be happy to know that I did not allow my sister-in-law to bully me into picking another name. My daughter is named after my great-grandmother and it fits her perfectly. I announced my daughter's birth and her name in a message to my family while I was in the hospital. My sister-in-law was not happy about my name choice. She was even angrier when she heard the nickname I chose for my daughter. It's a shortened version of her name that was also listed on the dibs list. She posted on social media about my daughter's birth, and in the announcement, she referred to the baby by a different name. She says that it's her own special nickname for my daughter. Think something like if her name was Grace, she decided to nickname her something like Gilly. It's very weird and doesn't even resemble my child's name at all. I told her immediately to stop and to call my daughter by her proper name or the nickname that I chose. I knew she was only doing it to bother me and getting upset would just encourage her more. She stopped for a short time, but never removed her social media post. I had my family over to meet the baby a week after I came home from the hospital. That's when sister-in-law started up with her games again. She purchased a bear for my daughter with Gilly embroidered across it. After opening that stupid bear, my family members laughed and told me to stop being so controlling. They told me to get over it and that sister-in-law's nickname is cute. They started to use the Gilly name altogether. I felt like I could not even name my own baby, and they thought I should just be okay with it. Well, I realized that none of them were ever going to change how they treat me. I saw that I was allowing it to happen was just as bad as what they were doing. I was allowing myself to be belittled, hurt, and used time and time again. The family members who did nothing are just as bad in my opinion because they never even tried to defend me. I've put up with a lot of family in the past. I've had to get over so many past issues and pain because I pushed past it in the name of the family. Now, this was all happening again, but this time it was in front of my daughter. What if they started treating my daughter the same way when she's older? I threw the bear in the garbage in front of them and told them to leave my house. They're all just as bad as sister-in-law in my opinion. I could not bring myself to yell or scream, but I stood firm. I removed my daughter from my mother's arms and showed them the door. There was a lot of name-calling, but I stood my ground. I'm done. I haven't spoken to them since. They haven't even tried to contact me. I intend to write a letter or something to them to say everything that I feel in words. I feel like I need that closure. I intend to go no contact with all of them from now on. I've spoken to my boss, and there's an opportunity for me to move out, east, to work in a new branch of the company. I intend to accept a new role and move during my maternity leave. My plans are not yet final, but I believe that a fresh start in a new place could be just the thing I needed. I need to do what's best for myself and my daughter. Regardless of family or anything, I'm extremely happy right now. My daughter is the greatest little baby imaginable. I'm so overjoyed to be her mother. Thank you everyone for all the help and support I've received here. I'm extremely grateful for all the advice, kindness, and everything I received, but I hope that I never have the need to post on here in the future. Thanks again, and I wish you all the best. Well guys, Mr. Reddito here. It seems that's the end of the saga. Oh wait, there's one more update. Update number 5, done, after the post. Oh, I was hoping that's the last time I posted on here would be my final time, but sadly I'm back here again looking for advice. Recently, my brother was able to get in contact with me by calling from a different phone. He said my sister-in-law had experienced some serious complications and was forced to deliver earlier than expected. My nephew has experienced some health issues due to being a premature baby and some other concerns. He's currently in the NICU at the hospital. My sister-in-law left my brother shortly after the birth of my nephew. She never returned home after being released from the hospital. My brother tells me my sister-in-law said she did not want to be my nephew's mother, and this was all too much for her. He's not heard from her since. My brother's now calling me and begging for help. My other family members are, quote, supporting, but not actually helping him in any way that matters. They have all seemed to think it's just a wonderful idea that I just take the baby since I'm already on maternity leave. I really don't know how to even process all this, or how they can even ask this of me after everything that's happened. I'm torn between the unimaginable anger, but also concern for my nephew. I'm sorry to break down on here, but I'm scared, and I don't know what to do. Well, that was a wild roller coaster of poop shows. Here, let's read a couple comments. I really hope OP's done with them. She gave them way too many chances, and they kept surprising her. They were stomping all over her. Comment 2 says, I agree, her family has given her nothing but heartache. I'm glad she and her daughter are embarking on a new adventure with a new move. For her new job, I think it's going to help a lot. I wonder why the sister-in-law hates her so much, though. The next comment says, it's probably jealousy is what I'm betting on. Sister-in-law keeps trying to one-up her at every turn, to the point of turning over her entire life philosophy from child-free to bearing a child within a few weeks. OMG. Alright guys, so tell me what you think of this story, or give some advice what you would do if you were in OP's position. I think moving away to the new job is the best route. The next story we're going to look at. Stepdaughter says she hates me and wished that I'd get COVID, so I wouldn't be here anymore. So, I have a stepdaughter who's 14. I've been with her mother since she was 4. She doesn't see her bio father at all, it's his choice, and he's played no role in her life. I'm the only father figure she really's had, other than her grandfather. We used to be fairly close up until she was around 12 or so, and then it was like someone had flipped a switch. She constantly disrespectful, says hurtful things like she wishes I was dead, and even goes to great lengths to avoid seeing me or being near me. She's only ever nice to me if I have something she needs or wants, like money, or if I'm making her food or something. So her school called our house phone today to see how she was and made sure she had all she needed to do her schoolwork, as we're back in lockdown. She brought the phone back into me after the call and I asked if everything was okay. We had a semi-normal conversation for a change until she said she wanted to go back to school. I told her she couldn't, as her mom's extremely vulnerable and if she got COVID and passed it to her, she would get extremely ill. That's when the conversation went as followed. If I pass it to you, would you survive? I don't know. Well, I hope you get it and don't. Then you wouldn't be around me anymore. I've spoken to my wife about this repeatedly about the things she says, and she's spoken to her, but the response she gets is that my stepdaughter hates me, and always has. And anytime she's been with me, or went out geo-coaching with her, she was faking enjoying spending time with me. And all those times in the past when she said she wants to call me dad. Those were big old phony moments. It breaks my heart. I feel like I've done something to change her view of me, but I don't know what as she won't say. She won't give me a reason why she says she hates me, as she always has. I tend to stay out of her way to avoid it all, which makes me sad and causes tension with my wife sometimes. Is this normal behavior? My wife says it's a normal teenage girl lashing out type of stuff, but even her friends have pulled her aside on it, and they've been around in the past and heard what she says to me. I tend to let it slide, mostly, but that COVID thing, that was harsh. Okay, here's a mini update for this story that came out a month later. Hello all, you have seen my previous post about this issue I'm having with my stepdaughter. Well, I didn't know where to put this, but I just put it here, yesterday. I took my youngest, my biological son, to the park, and much to my surprise, she wanted to come. Cue the following conversation. Can I tell you something? Yes, of course. You do know I don't actually hate you, right? Just wanted you to know that. Oh, thanks for telling me. I love you too. I feel so happy now. We're in such a better place and it's a load off. Her general attitude around me's much better and I think now she knows I'm there for her. For good. It's helped. Just wanted to post this somewhere as it's Brighton lockdown up so much knowing that. For anyone else, stick at it. Step parenting's hard, but it's worth it in the end. Wow guys, that was a hard story to read. That COVID comment was just so rude. Here's a similar situation story in the comment section. My mom says that I flipped a switch when I became a teenager too, but the only difference was that I started yelling back at her. She would scream and yell and say horrible things because she was insanely stressed out. And by then, I just started imitating her and throwing it back at her. It was so frustrating for her to just tell everyone that I was an insane child and that I was being a stupid teenager. So none of my concerns got addressed. No one believed me when I would talk about the abuse I suffered, either because, quote, I was just going through puberty. I just hope that parents don't see this post as a justification and validation for their children actually expressing concerns and pain to them. So let me know. That's actually a pretty cool perspective from someone that's younger. Let me know your thoughts on that or how you would go about replying to that. Drop your comments down below, guys. That's all the stories I have for you. thank you so much for tuning in. Consider subscribing, as I'll be here every single day, uploading a daily video. You can check out my other channels too in the description below. Have a wonderful day.